How can you break the sound barrier while you're standing on the ground? You'll find out as one of these three contestants wins the chance to drive home in this brand new Pontiac Fiero GT in just a split second. And now, here's the star of our show, Monty Hall!
Thank you all very much. Thank you. Here we are at Split Second, the most enjoyable show. I hope that you're enjoying it as much as we are and bringing it to you. We like to start off the show with a question every day, and the question today was, how do you break the sound barrier while you're standing on the ground? Well, you do it by cracking a whip. You see, the tip moves faster than the speed of sound, and that's why you hear the crack. And that's how you crack the sound barrier, things that you learn on this show. Well, we've learned to appreciate the appearance of our champion, Eric Ryder, who has won 4 straight days on this program. And he has forsaken all kinds of money and offers of furs to come back and try and win the car. And if he wins today, he'll be a 5-time champion and will win the car automatically. You won't have to pick any screens at all. So that will be good luck to you, Eric. And we have 2 new contestants to challenge you. And who are they, Sandy Hoyt?
Well, our first challenger is a lady whose green thumbs seem to have rusted to a dark brown. Meet Lori Hotz. And sitting right next to her is a lady who collects wine bottles. Full wine bottles, that is, Betty Terzer.
Well, it's more fun collecting full bottles than empty bottles. Eric, Laura, and Betty, let me tell you once again how we play our game. And for the folks at home who are seeing us for the first time, each one of our questions comes with 3 answers, but I only want 1 answer from each of our contestants in this first round and the second round. If all of 3 of you give me a correct answer, it's worth $10 to each of you. If 2 of you come up with an answer, it's worth $25. If only 1 of you can answer a question in each round, it's worth $50 to you and you alone. Are you ready, poised to hit your button? The one who comes in first gets to answer first, but if you ring your buzzer before the full question's on the screen, you'll be locked out. So here we go with question number 1. We have a name for every crime, such as the willful or malicious destruction of property is called vandalism. Tell me in 1 word what these crimes are called. Look at the screen. Maliciously setting a fire to injure physically and make a fraudulent facsimile. Eric is in.
Maliciously setting a fire is arson.
Correct. Betty?
Make a fraudulent facsimile fraud?
No, that is fraud. But it's the act that I'm looking for. What is the name for that? Laurie?
Making a fraudulent facsimile is vandalism?
No, it's counterfeiting.
Oh. Counterfeiting.
And the attempt or threat to injure physically is an assault. I'm sorry the girls didn't score on that one, and Eric, our champion, gets $50 all to himself. Among the landmarks in history are a number of famous hills. Here are 3 such hills. You tell me in what city we'd find them. Look at the screen. Nob Hill, Palatine Hill, and Bunker Hill. And Betty, you're in first.
Nob Hill, Boston?
Wrong, I'm sorry. Eric?
Bunker Hill's in Boston.
That's right. Laurie?
Nob Hill is in California?
Yes, the city.
Los Angeles?
No, San Francisco. Los Angeles doesn't have many hills, I can tell you that. Palatine Hill is in Rome. Again, we have 1 winner, and the champion has $100 all to himself by now. The wives of presidents of the United States get almost as much publicity as the presidents. So here are 3 recent presidents. Pick one and give me his wife's first name. Look at the screen. Eisenhower, Carter, and Ford. Eric?
Betty Ford.
Betty Ford is right for Ford. And how about Eisenhower's wife and Carter's wife? Betty?
Mamie Eisenhower?
That's right. And Carter's wife, Laurie?
Rosalind Carter.
Correct. All 3 of you get $10. And now the girls are on the board. On TV or in the movies, anything can happen, like real live animals talking real live English. Here are notes on 3 different animals that supposedly talk like humans. Pick one, name the type of animal it was. The type of animal it was. Mr. Ed, Cleo, and Francis. What kind of an animal, Betty?
Mr. Ed was a horse?
Right. Eric?
Francis was a mule.
Right. Laurie?
Cleo. A lamb?
Cleo is a dog, a basset hound in People's Choice, as a matter of fact. Eric and Betty get $25 each. The saying goes, any port in a storm. But before you land, tell me in what countries you'll find these cities with port in their names. Look at the screen. Port Moresby, Port-au-Prince, and Portofino. And Betty's first.
Port-au-Prince, Haiti?
That is correct. Eric?
Port Moresby, England?
No, that's not right. Laurie?
Portofino, Italy?
That's right. And Port Moresby was New Guinea, and the girls score $25 each. In politics, when son follows exactly in pop's footsteps, that's news. So I'll give you the facts on 3 fathers and sons who held the same high political positions. Pick a set of facts. Give me the last name of the father and son. Look at the screen. These were presidents of the United States. These were governors of California. And these were senators from Louisiana. Betty.
Presidents of the United States, Madison?
No. We are taking a look at the father and son, and we want their first names at the same time. So, Lori, do you know any of the presidents who had the same name, or the governors
Theodore
who had the
Roosevelt
same jobs?
and Teddy Roosevelt.
I'm sorry? No, they were not father and son. Eric?
The presidents of the United States were the Adams.
That's right. Do you know their names by any chance? I'm going to accept that. Do you know their names?
John and John Quincy.
Yes, very good. Yes, and the governors of California were both Pat Browns. The young one was also Jerry Brown. And senators from Louisiana were Huey Sr. and Huey Jr., the Huey Longs. And so we have the champion picking up a fast $50 there. A type of rabbit is called a cottontail. And each of the items I'm going to describe start with the word cotton. Pick one, and you name it with a word that starts with cotton. Each one of these starts with cotton. A shade tree, a spun sugar treat, and a water moccasin. And Lori is first. Pick one.
A shade tree with cotton.
It starts with the word cotton. Now, did you not understand the question, though?
Yeah, I did.
You
I'm
did, but you
sorry.
couldn't get the answer. Eric?
A water moccasin is a cotton mouth.
A cotton mouth. And Betty?
Spun sugar treat, cotton candy?
Right, and a shade tree is cottonwood. And so Eric and Betty get some points on that one. Each of the famous celebrities I'm going to show you married a man whose first name was Jack. Pick one and give me the full name of the Jack she was once married to. Look at the screen. Liza Minnelli was married to a Jack, so was Jill, so was Shirley. Laurie?
Shirley Jones, Jack Lemmon.
No, sorry. Eric?
Shirley Jones, I don't know.
You're all picking Shirley Jones and you can't come up with the answer. Betty?
Shirley Jones, Jack Cassidy.
Yes, indeed. And I'll tell you the others. Jill St. John was married to Jack Jones, Liza Minnelli to Jack Haley Jr. And since you're the only one who got it, you get the whole $50 to yourself. All right, that was Betty that picked up 50. She's just behind Eric right now, right? And Laurie's in third place. In Europe, Rome is known as the Eternal City, and in the U.S., New York is known as the Big Apple. Here are 3 other well-known nicknames of U.S. cities. Pick one and name the city. Look at the screen. Which is Motown, Music City, and the city of brotherly love? Betty?
Motown, Detroit?
Right. Eric?
City of brotherly love, Philadelphia.
Right. Laurie?
Music City is Los Angeles.
Nashville, Tennessee is the right answer to that one. Eric and Betty get $25 each. At the end of round one, our champion is in the lead once again with $235. Betty is second with $160. And Laurie, you could make a comeback. You only have $35 in the next round. We've doubled the stakes. We always like to find out something about our contestants. We know a lot about Eric. How about you, Laurie? What was this about you having you don't even have a green thumb? It's a dark thumb. What does that
Well,
mean?
every time I have a plant in my apartment, I talk to it, I sing to it, but they all die. I mean, there's nothing I can do.
I heard that when you're nice to them, they just thrive.
No, I mean, they tell me their problems, everything, but nothing will help.
The last confession before they die.
That's right.
My suggestion to you is next time you get a plant, don't talk to them and don't sing to them.
Maybe that's the problem.
Give them a chance. And Betty, what about the collection of wine? Are you a connoisseur? Are you what do they call it? An oenologist? Is that what they call wine collectors?
Well, I wouldn't say that I'm a connoisseur. I'm starting. We joined a club, the Epimian Society, and we're buying wine from all over the world. I'm considered the taste tester in the family. My husband's got the brains and behind the purchases.
And you're the one that's always saying, this is a good one.
Tastes good to me.
Where do the best wines come from?
Well, it depends what you like. I personally like the sweet German wines, the dessert wines.
Yes, the sweet German. How about the California wines? You like them?
I really haven't tried too many, so the opinion's out right now.
I'm going to send you about 5 or 6
Great.
cases of this. Yeah, you really believe I will, won't you?
Yes.
All right. Now, I heard that you just had a baby recently, and you brought it. Did you bring that picture along? I saw you
For good
showing.
luck, she
I saw you
kissed
showing it to the other
Yeah.
contestants. Let me take a look at this. Take a look at the brand new baby just came along. There you are. That should give Betty some good luck. What's the baby's name?
Veronica Catherine.
Veronica Catherine. All right, maybe Veronica will bring you good luck as we go into our second round. This time, of course, we're going to double the stakes. And if one person answers all by his lonesome, it's $100. This time, if 2 people answer, it's 50, and if 3 people answer, it's 20. A chance for Laurie to start making her comeback, okay? Here we go. You want to win this round because it'll give you an advantage in the countdown round, where we go for that car. And, of course, if Eric wins today, it'll be his 5th win, and he automatically gets the car if he wins today. To keep a horse from wandering, it's kept in a paddock or a corral. What kind of animal is kept in these enclosures? Look at the screen. In a sty, in a coop, and a fold. Laurie.
A coop is chickens?
That's right. Betty?
Sty, pig.
Right. And a
A
fold?
fold is sheep.
All 3 right. All 3 get $20. Gerald R. Ford, former President of the United States, is not the only famous Ford. Here are descriptions of 3 other well-known Fords. Pick one and give me the first name. Look at the screen. The Star, the modeling agency, and the one who developed the Model T. Laurie.
The star of, oh, sorry.
You just blocked out on that, did you, Betty?
Harrison Ford, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Right. And Eric?
And Henry Ford developed the Model T.
Yes, and Eileen Ford started the modeling agency, so you get $50 each. Those 2 contestants will point away from Laurie. American Army and Navy bases are often in the headlines for reasons other than war. So here are the facts about 3 famous American military bases. Pick a fact, name the base. There's a base where the gold is kept, and a naval base in Cuba, and where the president's plane is kept. These famous bases. Betty.
Fort Knox for the Gold Reserve.
Fort Knox for the gold is right. Laurie.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
You don't know. Eric?
The president's plane is kept at Edwards Air Force Base.
No, it's kept at Andrews Air Force Base, and the Navy base in Cuba is Guantanamo. And Betty, you get $100 all by yourself. And by doing so, have taken the lead. You have the lead for the first time. Spelling time. I'm going to put up the first name of a dog. I want you to spell the second name which completes it. I'll even give you the second names right now. They are Retriever, Pinscher, and Schnauzer. Look at the screen. There's a Gordon Retriever and a Doberman Pinscher and a Giant Schnauzer, and you spell the last name for me, Betty. Pick one.
Retriever. R-E-T-E-I-V-E-R.
You left out an R. You made it a Retriever instead of a Retriever. I'm sorry. So let's pick another one. Eric.
Doberman Pinscher. Pinscher is P-I-N-S-C-H-E-R.
You're right. And Laurie, a Giant Schnauzer. How do you spell Schnauzer?
Schnousser.
No, it's A-U-Z-E-R. And so we have only one winner. And Eric has reclaimed the lead with his $100. Sight isn't necessary for creating great sound, as several superstar musicians have proved. I'll give you the titles of 3 hit records. Pick one and name the blind musician who took it to the top. Look at the screen. A blind musician I just called to say I love you, light my fire, I can't stop loving you, Laurie.
I just called to say I love you, Stevie Wonder.
That's right, Betty.
Light My Fire, Jose Feliciano.
Eric?
I Can't Stop Loving You, Ray Charles.
All 3 are right. All 3 get $20. Hockey players have to use ice skates to get around, but what would you have to use to get around in these sports? Look at the screen. In a regatta, Formula One, and a motocross. Betty? What?
Formula One Grand Prix is cars.
Race cars. I'll accept that. Eric?
Motocross is a motorcycle.
Right. And Laurie, in a regatta, what do you need?
A boat.
A boat. That's right. It's just a boat race of any kind would do. $20 apiece. Here's information about 3 world-famous doctors. You name the doctor associated with the information. Look at the screen. The first successful human heart transplant, won the Nobel Prize, worked in Africa, and wrote a common sense book on baby and child care. Laurie, you're first. Which one are you choosing?
One Nobel Prize,
Yes.
worked in Africa, Dr. Livingston.
No, I'm sorry. Eric?
The Nobel Prize is Dr. Albert Schweitzer.
Yes, that's right. It was Schweitzer. And Betty?
Dr. Spock for baby and child care.
That's right. And the first successful human heart transplant was conducted by Dr. Christian Barnard. So Eric and Betty get $50 each. The champ is still in the lead. As we do every so often, it's time to speak English. Here are 3 words that the English use for certain foods. Pick one, give me the American translation. Look at the screen. Crisps, treacle, and aubergine. Betty?
Aubergine eggplant.
Correct. Laurie?
Crisps are chips.
Right. And Eric?
Treacle is cake.
No, molasses. The 2 girls get $50 each. Our champion still holds the lead. We've all seen so many movies about the Navy that Navy terms are almost as well known as everyday English. So pick one of these descriptions. Tell me what the Navy called it. A sailor leave is called what? And enlisted first goes to what kind of a camp? A petty officer blows a what kind of a pipe? Laurie?
A petty officer blows a grass pipe.
No, he certainly doesn't. Not in my Navy, he doesn't. Betty?
Boot camp.
Boot camp is right. And Eric?
Is it a bosun's pipe?
It's a bosun's pipe is right, and a sail and leave is on Liberty, so Eric and Betty get $50 each. And in Laurie's Navy, enlistment just went up. All right. I'm going to give you the first names of 3 title characters in well-known comic strips. Pick one and give me his last name. Look at the screen. Moon, Alley, Smokey. Betty.
Alley-oop?
Right. Eric.
Moon Mullins.
Right. And Smokey?
The bear.
Smokey, no, the one I'm looking for is Smokey Stover. And so Eric and Betty get $50 each. We enter the second round. Our champion ends the second round in a slight lead over Betty, and that means he'll have the advantage of the countdown round. And Laurie will, of course, have the toughest row to hoe. Let's see what happens to the countdown round right after this. Well, this is the countdown round, which determines who goes for the car. The questions are just as before, but with a twist this time. Whenever you buzz in, now you can give me 1, 2, or all 3 answers to the question. Every time you give me a correct answer, you count down one number. Whoever counts down to 0 first is our winner, gets a chance to go for the car. In Eric's case, if he wins this game, he automatically wins the car. Now, Eric had the most money. That means he only has 4 questions to answer. Betty was second. She has only 5 questions to answer. To win, Laurie needs 6 because she was in 3rd place. Remember, you can answer all 3 parts of the question, Laurie. Gives you a chance to make a come-from-behind win over Eric and Betty. Let's see how well you do. Many historic rulers have been known to history with descriptive words after their names, such as Ivan the Terrible. I'll give you 3 other historic rulers. Give me the phrase that has been used to describe him. Look at the screen. There is Attila and Peter Romanoff and Lorenzo de Medici. And Laurie, you're in first.
Attila the Hun.
You're right. You may continue.
Lorenzo de Medici the Great.
No, I'm sorry. That's not right. Betty.
Peter the Great?
That's correct. Continue.
Lorenz?
Can you tell me, Eric?
Lorenzo the Magnificent.
Each one of you is right. Each one scores 1 point down. Eric needs 3, Betty needs 4, Laurie needs 5. Not all members of a president's cabinet make the headlines, but these 3 sure did. Here are the facts. You name the cabinet members. Look at the screen. The first woman cabinet member of the United States. The one whose brother was president. Reagan's first Secretary of State. Eric.
Reagan's first Secretary of State, Alexander Haig.
You may continue.
His brother was President...
Laurie, how about you?
Kennedy.
Which one?
His brother was president.
All right, and who was the one we're looking for? Which Kennedy?
Robert.
No, I'm going to give her, don't forget the buzzer. Robert is right. Continue.
First woman cabinet member, I don't know.
Do you know, Betty? The first woman cabinet member is Frances Perkins. Laurie is down to 4. Betty needs 4. Eric just needs 2. In recent years, certain American artists have become not only famous, but closely identified with the type of painting they do or did. Here are some facts about 3 famous American artists. Give me their famous names. Look at the screen. Over 100 Saturday Evening Post covers, the Campbell Soup Can painter, and painter Anna Mary Robertson. Betty's in first.
Norman Rockwell for these Evening Post covers.
Continue.
Andy Warhol, Soup Cans.
Right, continue.
Primitive painter Anna Mary Robertson.
You don't know, Eric?
Grandma Moses.
Grandma Moses is right. Eric is down to 1. Betty needs 2. Laurie still needs 4. It could end on this question. Romance in grand opera is usually a grand passion where a tenor gets the soprano and he loses the soprano to finish. Tenor and soprano lose each other. At least that's what happens to these operatic couples. Here are the tenors. Give me the character name of the soprano that they lost. Othello, Radames, and Tristan. And Eric is not first. Betty is first. Needs 2.
Tristan and Isolde.
Yes, you have one more.
Othello and Ophelia.
No, that's not right. And Laurie is next.
Radames and Remus.
No, Eric has a chance.
I don't know.
Oh, Radames and Aida, and Othello and Desdemona. Look how close this is. Betty needs 1. Eric had a chance. He needs 1. Laurie needs 4. Everybody's had a chance on this one. Middle names are important to a number of world-famous authors. So I'll give you the first and last name of 3 great writers. You give me their middle name. Look at the screen. And the buzzers are in. Eric's in first.
Edgar Rice Burroughs.
You've got yourself the win! The others were Hans Christian Andersen and Robert Louis Stevenson. And that was a trip. I thought for a moment you were going to lose on that one question that Betty came up with. And so I have to say goodbye in a very great race to Laurie and Betty. Laurie takes away $145. Betty, $570. Thank you so much for being with us. It was really wonderful having you with us here today. And as for you, Eric, you have won that car. Go take a look at it. Eric, as you can tell by our studio audience, everybody's so thrilled that you won the car, and you deserved it. You won 5 straight days. You turned down all kinds of offers that we gave you, with $3,000 extra in cash and a fur to take away with you. But you said, no, I'm going to come back, and I'm going to win that car, and you did. Today, of course, was the closest of all.
I had some great opponents. I'm just glad I can ride to class in style now.
How do you get to class now?
By foot.
By foot, and now you're going to be able to drive in this beautiful automobile to class to study and keep on with your master's in medieval history, right?
That's right.
Well, you've been a terrific contestant. We're very thrilled for you, too. And when you finish, you become a professor, and then you'll tell everybody about the day you were a contestant on Split Second and won this beautiful automobile. Your winnings on today's show, coupled with what you won previously and the car, bring you to between $22,000 and $23,000 worth. So we're really thrilled for you. Thanks. Good luck to a very good winner, to Eric Ryder on the show, and thank you for being with us, Charlene, and we hope that all of you will come back and join us next time on Split Second. Bye-bye, everybody, and thank you.
Split Second is a Stephen Haydas Money